Hello everybody, welcome back to Elden Ring. In today's video, I'm going to be showing off the build I've been using, which is kind of a spell sword build, using the Moonveil katana. This is a pretty, at this point it's a pretty common build. I'm pretty sure I, started and I knew exactly what I wanted to use. I'm going to do, like a dex intellect build, not knowing how strong it'd be, and this kind of became the big build for everything, so that's pretty funny. But anyway, so getting into what you need for this build, first is the Moonveil katana. This is a magic based katana that scales with both intellect and dexterity pretty well. It also causes bleed buildup. It has a pretty good moveset, that of the katanas, and it's got these two special abilities. To get this katana, you can get it fairly early on if you're a semi-skilled player. From like the church here, right here. You literally just walk up and it's right here. It's in this. You fight the magma worm at the end, which you might have a little bit of a difficulty killing if you're running like dexterity or magic. It's definitely easier for like a strength-based character, but you can get it. It's not too difficult. Next thing in this build is just the Dark Moon Greatsword. This is just as an extra kind of weapon. It does pretty insane damage, 722 with what I'm currently using. So it's pretty good, and it's not fully upgraded. That is from a quest, which I'm going to be making a guide on, so stay tuned for that. I have just any type of glintstone staff. I've been experimenting with this one, but I might change it up to like the demi-human or something. Some sort of different one. This one's good, but it takes a lot of mana. The meteorite staff is very good early game until you can outclass it. Like it's good until you can upgrade this past like 240 sorcery scaling, or at least at the stats I'm at currently. Speaking of the stats I'm at currently, I should have showed those first, but I'll show them now. I'm at 35 vigor. Actually, no, I'm not. For stats, I'm at 30 vigor, 20 mind, 16 endurance, 16 strength. That's just to wield the Dark Moon Greatsword. If you don't want the Moonlight Greatsword, you don't need to have 16. You can just have it at 12 to wield the Moonveil. 26 dexterity, 60 intelligence, and then faith and arcane are at base. This will get you pretty good damage and stats and stuff. But with this goes up to 35, 21, 21, and 31 of those 4 stats there. This is a no-brainer for almost every build. It also raises your stamina and FP or HP and your equip load. And it says you take more damage, but it's barely any. It's like maybe an extra point or two of health. It's unbelievably strong for what it is. Getting onto the talisman here, starting with this one here, the Radagon's Soar Seal. This is pretty easy to obtain. It's in a castle somewhere here. Let's see if we can find which one it is. Oh yeah, Fort Feroth here. This once again is decently easy to get to. If you just go from Gale Tunnel here, you don't even need to fight anything. If you just go from Gale Tunnel, go up all the way over here, you can run through, and if you just run through the castle at the end of it, you don't even have to fight a boss or anything. There's a little spot it's in, and you can just grab it. It's super simple. I'll probably make a guide on that, because this is probably the best charm in the game talisman in the game for any build. You should have this on any build. My other ones, I have the icon, shortens spell cast time. This is just for the spells I do have. It makes it go way faster, which is really good in builds, or in fights and stuff, obviously, because you can spam them faster. That one doesn't reach, and I don't have any mana, but it's a super important thing to have as a pseudo or as a full spellcaster. Another one I have is the Green Turtle Talisman. This is pretty good for raising a stamina recovery speed, so if you're swinging and dodging and stuff, you get back in the fight a lot faster. If you don't really want that and you're more like spamming spells from a distance, having like a Cerulean Amber, or really any other thing, like this Horn Charm to raise focus is nice. This is nice if you're using if you're kind of using the Moonveil exclusively and you want to spam its skill. It's pretty good. But that one's good to have. You get it pretty early on from a ruin really close to spawn. The last one I have is the Assassin's Cerulean Dagger. This one goes along with the Rapier really well. I use this because the Rapier has 130 critical, so it hits critical attacks much sooner than other weapons, and what the Cerulean Dagger does is critical hits restore FP. So what you can do is, if you're low on FP, since this is a spell sword build, you're going to be prioritizing your Crimson Flasks over your Cerulean Flasks, so you're going to run out of these much faster if you're just out in the open and you're fighting a bunch of stuff. This combo here with the Cerulean Dagger and the Rapier allows you to get your FP back when you get a critical hit on an enemy, so it's another way to get FP back when you don't have any FP flasks. Because once again, you're a spell sword, so you want to prioritize health over your magic, just because you're going to be up close and personal because you have something other than magic. In terms of that's all set in stone. I guess that's not entirely true. I do change some of them up sometimes. Erdtree's Favor is pretty good, though I don't use that anymore just because of this. You don't really need both the buffs unless you really need HP. In terms of spells, I am using a few that are important. We're going to talk about Scholar's Armaments first, just because for the Rapier here. There is something super important about scaling in this game. It's kind of odd, but if I were to make this Rapier a magic one that scales with intellect, it would do less damage than if I were to just keep this as is and use Scholar's Armaments. So this went from it's up there now. It's up to 455 now instead of like the 200 that it was. So it's super important to, if you're going to be using a normal weapon on a magic class like this, do not infuse it with magic. Just use Scholar's Armaments. It does so much more damage. It stays up for a long time, so you're not going to be like reprocking it every minute, it's going to be, it's a while, so you'll, it's much better to use Scholar's Armaments. In terms of the other few spells I have, a few of these are just like this one I'm just using for like I'm trying it out for whatever. Some of these like Star Shower, Swift Glint, Stoneblade, just kind of primers, or if something's running away, it's pretty good. Carrion Slicer's good. If something gets close, you can just kind of spam it real fast, which helps. This is to apply Frost. I use it alongside my Moonlight Greatsword just because they both apply Frost, so it's pretty good. Loretta's Great Bow is a unbelievably powerful spell. You can get people from very, very far away, and if you can land it on something, it does pretty massive damage. Which is pretty good, obviously. Last one is the Comet Azure. This spell is busted, especially with something I'm going to show you later, but this, you just hold it down, and I'm out of range there, but like it will absolutely destroy. Let's see if I can get in range here. It will absolutely destroy basically everything. See, unbelievably strong. And with something I'm going to show you in a second here, you don't even need that much FP to use it. Like, for that to like work efficiently, you need like a giant FP pool. But with something I'm going to show you real fast here, you don't need. You could have base FP basically. So I'll show you that in a second. But to get most of these spells, Scholar's Armaments, you start with if you are a prisoner or a astrologer. Otherwise, you can buy it from the wizard NPC. These are just kind of whatever interchangeable ones. Carrion Slicer, same. But Loretta's Bow is pretty easy to get. Well, I say easy, but not entirely. But if you go up here to this manor here, work your way through it, and eventually you'll get up to here. And there's a fight against Loretta, and once you beat her, you get the bow spell. This one, a Comet Azure, is a bit further into the game. It's not too hard to obtain once you're further in the game. Once you make it up to this mountain region here, and all this, you just have to go, you'll go across this bridge right here eventually. You'll make your way around here, and you'll go to this bridge, and right in this corner, or I think it's this corner here, there will be like a little like dead, like this giant dead mage looking thing, and you just loot it off of that. So it's super strong. And to make it even more powerful, you're gonna want another thing from that region, which is absolutely busted. So just let's see if should just work. There we go. Finally ran out. That is busted. That is a tier you can get for the Flask of Wondrous Physic. It makes it so for a little bit you do not expend FP when using spells, which means with Common Azure there you are unstoppable because you can just hold it down for as long as that lasts basically. So it's called the Cerulean Hidden tier. Eliminates all FP consumption and mixed physics. So you just drink that at the start of a boss fight and then you just hold it down. To get that one, you have to go down to the small Erd tree right here, the minor Erd tree here. It's pretty easy to get to. If you just, it's right along the path right here. So if you go here, you fight the beast up here, you go across here, go all the way down, it's around here, and then there's a way up to this. It is unbelievably strong. It is something that every single spellcaster should get, regardless if you're a Spellblade or just a normal wizard. It is unbelievably powerful. But that really brings us to the end of the video. I'm not really running any special armor. You can always run like this helmet to get that little extra intelligence, which is cool. But kind of when you hit 60, especially the Moonveil will start, like, it will be diminishing returns. So I suggest if you're using the Moonveil as a weapon here, I suggest starting to raise your dex after you get all your other skills at a comfortable spot that you like them at. But yeah, that's really it for the video. I'm going to have a few guides on how to get the more sort of like this, and I'll have a guide on the Moonlight Greatsword coming up, and maybe on the Wondrous Physic thing, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you just kind of follow the game and then you just explore, really. But thank you for coming and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and try out the build, because it's carried me through most of the game. Magic and Dex are super powerful, and when you combine them together, it's unbelievably stupidly powerful. So yeah, they really went overboard with the magic this time around. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.